There was once a time when World Championship Wrestling was the top wrestling promotion in the United States. Believe it or not, WWE once struggled to keep up with the competition. During the 1990s, WCW's popularity skyrocketed, even surpassing WWE at its peak. Fans and wrestlers alike were switching side, fueling WCW's rapid growth. And at the heart of it all was one faction, the NWO. But alas, the way of the world is an interesting one, and WCW began to falter and was ultimately bought out by WWE and ceased to exist, but left behind a legacy still talked about today. But what if things had played out differently? What if WWE never managed to catch up to WCW? Picture a scenario where WWE is struggling to stay relevant while the wrestling world gradually moves on, seeing it as a company that just couldn't keep up. This will be the state of the world of professional wrestling for this series. This is a strange case of Sean here. Thank you for checking out the video. This will be the first video in my story titled A Story Written by Me with some assistance from ChatGPT. This is purely fictional, and I will be using WWE 2K25 to tell the story. We are going to travel back in time. The story begins on December 28th, 1997. For those unaware, this was the date of WCW's pay-per-view event, StarrCade, which is the equivalent to WWE's WrestleMania. StarrCade 1997 was promoted as WCW's biggest pay-per-view of all time, headlined by the long-awaited confrontation between the leader of the NWO and World Heavyweight Champion Hollywood Hogan and the last hope for WCW, Sting. The build-up began over a year earlier, after Hogan and the NWO took control of WCW, running roughshod over its stars and mocking the company's traditions. After being falsely accused of joining the NWO in late 1996, Sting adopted a silent, crow-like persona, deviating from his beach blonde, surfer, charismatic character, and disappeared from in-ring competition. For months, he would appear in the rafters, silently observing, only occasionally intervening. Hogan held the WCW World title and claimed there was no one left to beat him, mocking Sting's silence. Sting was seen as a mythic figure who had to finally speak up and wrestle after over a year of silence. It is important to note that just weeks before, Bret Hart had been screwed over in real life at WWE Survivor Series in the famous Montreal Screwjob. His role in this match was that of a neutral enforcer, unsure where exactly his loyalties lie. The Montreal Screwjob was an event that sent shockwaves through the wrestling world and set the course for the WWE to resurge in popularity in the real timeline. But this isn't the real timeline. In this timeline, the historic moment actually would go back to bite WWE where it hurts. How exactly? Well, let's get started, shall we? In the main event, two titans in professional wrestling fought in a competitive match. Its closing moments, however, were filled with controversy. Hogan appears to win cleanly after hitting a leg drop and pins Sting, with the referee Nick Patrick making a fast count. Hogan's henchmen Scott Hall and Kevin Nash would join their leader in the ring to celebrate. Moments after, Bret Hart, who had just debuted in WCW, intervened with a microphone, claiming the count was unfair. He demanded that the match be restarted. He was then attacked by Hall and Nash. Lex Luger would then rush to the ring to the aid of Hart and Sting, but he would be quickly overwhelmed and struck down by Hogan. Hall would re-enter the ring with Sting's bat. He hands the bat to Hogan. Nash picks up a weakened Sting and holds him up. Hogan begins to laugh. Hall joins Nash as they each hold one of Sting's arms, leaving him open to whatever brutality Hogan has planned. Hogan begins to wind up the bat when suddenly, the lights go out. The commentators are confused. Huh? Then, an eerie sound plays over the speaker in the arena. The crowd erupts. They know exactly who is here. The lights come back on, and in the center of the ring stands someone everyone in the world of professional wrestling knows. The commentators can't contain their excitement. That's Mark Calloway! What is he doing here? How is this possible? The crowd chants for Undertaker. The jaws of the NWO have dropped. Taker menacingly trades glares with each member of the NWO. Hogan goes to attack Taker with the bat, but pauses, then laughs. He drops the bat at Taker's feet. Taker then picks up the bat. and he turns to Sting. Taker then strikes Sting in the stomach. He then strikes him in the back. He takes off his sweatshirt to reveal a NWO t-shirt. The crowd boos. Hall and Nash kick Sting while he's down. Hart and Luger try to intervene again, but they are neutralized by the Outsiders. Hogan drags Sting over to the steel chair and places his head onto it. He then delivers another leg drop onto Sting. Taker then picks up Sting and delivers a monstrous chokeslam. Taker then kicks him out of the ring. Hogan then raises the hand of Taker in celebration. Taker stares down the hard camera and doesn't break eye contact. Hall and Nash then get into the frame. Hogan then goes to high-five his henchmen, but they don't raise their hands. Hogan is confused. Hall and Nash look at each other and smile. Taker then slowly turns his head and shifts his focus to Hogan. Hogan turns to Taker and eats a sucker punch that busts him open. The commentators and audience are unsure of what they're witnessing. Nash picks up Hogan and hits him with a jackknife powerbomb. Hall then picks him up and hits him with an outsider's edge. Taker watches on in the corner. He motions them to pick him up. Just as they held Sting, they now hold a battered Hogan. Taker then grabs Hogan by his soaked, deep red stained hair and slowly runs his hand across his throat in a familiar motion to those in the world of wrestling. Hall places the chair in the vicinity of Taker. He then picks up Hogan and delivers an intense tombstone piledriver onto the steel chair. The arena is stunned. Nash hands Taker a microphone. Taker speaks. In the end, the soil is welcome to all. Taker drops the microphone and drops down onto a knee, raising his hand in the air, dimming the lights, and StarrCade goes off the air. Note, Hogan will not return in this series because, in the immortal words of the Iron Sheik, if you know, you know. The one jump that many thought would not happen, in fact did. Mark Calloway has left the WWE and has made his presence felt in WCW. What exactly will the dead man have in store? We'll have to see in the next chapter of New World Order Undertaker. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss this series and my other videos. I appreciate all support. Stay strange, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.